Hi, and welcome back to my channel. I've been wanting to add some more spooky books to my life since I'm typically a really big fan of like horror movies and stuff, but I don't read a lot of horror books. So I'm hoping to change that and just add some extra ones. Like I think I'll like them. I like horror movies, so I don't see why I wouldn't like books too. It's just not a genre I typically steer towards usually. But I definitely want to like open myself up to some new things. So I'm gonna try one that I've had on my TBR for quite a while now. I started the first chapter last year and then I had to put it down, and so this is gonna be a complete reread. Like I only read like a chapter last time. So the book I'm going to start with is Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. I don't know a whole lot about it, just kind of the basics. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I've heard some like mixed things about it. So I don't know which category I'm gonna kind of fall in, but I'm excited to give it a whirl and see what I think. So yeah, this is gonna be my first book, and I will get back to you on the first update.
Later.
So I'm 100 pages into the Final Girl support group, and so far it's not bad. I've met all of the characters who are the final survivors of events, and like they've all been inspired by various characters from like the slasher flicks. So it's got like Nightmare on Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, Scream, and a couple of others. So it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun going, oh, I know that movie, which has been kind of interesting. So far, yes. So far, I've met all of those characters. So far, I haven't really found any that I'm particularly like really loving. The main character, Lynette, she's okay. She's a bit, um, yeah, she's okay. But I don't really like love her yet. Like I'm not like, super like rooting for her or anything. So hopefully that kind of changes the further I get, but that's okay if I don't. Um, for me, there's been quite a lot that's happened, and it's all kind of affected like the different members of the support group in different ways. But since most of it's kind of happened like off page, I was having a little bit of trouble finding like keeping up with who it was affecting and how it was affecting them, like all the different characters. So I keep having to go back and refresh like the different names and be like, oh yeah, okay, that's who that is. So yeah, but there has been a lot that's happened, and so that's pretty fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading the next little bit, seeing kind of what happens and how that goes. I will check back in at the next update. So I'm just under the 200 page mark now, and it's getting a lot better. It's gotten really interesting, and a lot has happened. There has been a lot that's happened in this last little few pages. That's I think really kind of changed like my mood about the book. I was a little bit bored for a little bit there, and now it's like it's really starting to pick up. Um, Initially, I wasn't really a big fan of the main character Lynette, but she's grown on me with the last, as the events unfold. Like she's starting to really grow on me, become more interesting of a character as well, and just like I'm starting to, like I hope she survives. And then yeah, just a lot's happened. And it's quite stressful in parts. Like just kind of as watching them like live it, it's really quite like I'm stressed out reading it. But it is a fun read. Like it's really fun. I should hopefully get, I think I should probably finish in the next little bit here. So we'll see. And I'll be right back for the next update. Bye. Some little cactuses. So I finished the Final Girl support group. The last 100 pages, I actually was quite bored of it. There was a bit of a twist I didn't expect, and like a big final reveal, and final kind of a showdown type of a thing. But I was just bored. Like it wasn't as exciting as I was hoping for. It wasn't as interesting. Like the reveal wasn't. It was just okay. Honestly, like I grew to really like the characters in this book, which saved it for me. I started really wanting like the girls to actually like make it. I was rooting for them. Which honestly is the only thing that saved this book for me. I didn't love it. I have to say I'm probably just gonna give it like a 3 stars. Like it's average. It's good, but it's average. It was the middle part was like the best. Like between 200 and 300 pages was the best part. But yeah, between that, it wasn't excellent, which is a shame. I had really high hopes for it. Yeah. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. I made a post on Instagram for my next book, and the choices were between The Con Season by Adam Cesare, Kill Hill Carnage by Tim Meyer, and Camp Firwood by Boris Bacic. And everyone voted for Camp Firwood, so that's what I'm going to be reading next. It's like a summer camp kind of a horror. I'm pretty excited to see how it is. I'll get back to you on the next update. So I'm now halfway through Camp Firwood, and it's a very weird book. It's got a Holes type of vibe going, but with more of a monster element, like a supernatural kind of a thing. So these kids are at a correctional camp, and there is supposedly some kind of monster in the surrounding forest. And throughout the camp, there is a rumor that the campers are being used as sacrifices to this monster. But halfway, there hasn't been a whole lot that's happened, like in the way of plot or anything. It's mostly just been this boy Kevin getting used to the camp and finding out the hard way that it's not the fun summer camp that he thought he was going to. And there's been, there's like a darker element to it. But there hasn't been a lot else. Like I haven't really you haven't seen the monster. It's just like a rumor going around. So there's still no idea what actually happens out in the forest. Every couple of weeks, a camper gets chosen to go out into the forest to do some kind of trial, and supposedly if they survive, they get to go home early. But never seen them come back, and they've never seen them like actually like leave, so they don't know what happens to these people that are leaving. I'm hoping that in the next part of the book there'll be some stuff in the forest. I would like to see what happens, or like, you know, I'm hoping there is a bit of a monster element, like that you actually kind of see it or something. Like I'm hoping that there will be more of a focus on the forest and just a bit more happening. But so far it's not bad. It's just not probably not what I was expecting. I thought it was going to be a bit more of a monster, like a monster spooky thing, and it hasn't really been that way yet. But I'm excited to see where it goes in the next little bit. So I'll be back for probably see how the end goes. I'll be back for the next update.
The next day.
So I ended up finishing Camp Firwood late last night, and it took a really incredibly dark, kind of twisted turn, and I really wasn't expecting that to happen. It ended up being like a Holes kind of meets Hunger Games with like a hostile element, and yeah, it ended up being a lot different than I thought. Yeah. So the first half of the book ends up being was really slow. Like not a whole lot happens. It's just kind of getting to know the campers, getting to know the camp, getting to know Kevin, like our main character, and then about halfway through, Kevin is sent out into the forest to participate in something that the camp calls the trial. And up until now, everything that happens in the forest has been a rumor. They don't know how any proof that anything happens. Like what happens, they have no idea. But then, so Kevin ends up going out to do this trial, and suddenly you find out what is really up in the woods, and it's really kind of dark, twisted. Um, yeah, I ended up actually quite liking it. Um, it did not take the turn I expected it to, um, which is good in a way. Like I didn't predict what was going to happen. Yeah, it ended up being an interesting book. Got all the trigger warnings towards the end. Um, so I'd recommend being careful with it. But yeah, it was an interesting book. So I'm glad I read it. Yeah, so I think I'm probably gonna give it a like 3.5, 4 stars. Not really sure which one at the moment. But yeah, it definitely ended up being a lot better as it went on. Yeah, it was a good, interesting book. So yeah. So I'm now going to be reading Kill Hill Carnage by Tim Meyer. It was the second, like the runner up on the poll that I posted on Instagram. And it's on Kindle, so I'm gonna give it a try. I think this one is a slasher, which I'm hoping for. So hopefully that's what it ends up being. I haven't really read too much of the blurb. I just it sounds like it's going to be a slasher, but we'll see. I hope it is. It sounds like a horror movie type of a thing. So yeah, I'm going to give that one a try, and we'll see how that goes. So I finished reading Kill Hill Carnage. It was very quickly. It didn't take me very long at all. Very fast paced, and it was not a super long book, so yeah, I really liked it. It was quite gory in parts, quite creepy. Had some spooky like monster vibe. Like it's a monster book. It was brilliant. the characters were really well written. Like, I really liked most of them. I was rooting for them, like wanted them to survive. It was really good. Yeah, the plot unfolded really quickly, and yeah, it was a really, really good book. I loved it actually. So yeah, that is that update. It was a really fast read, so definitely a good one, and definitely one I would recommend. Yeah. So that is it for this vlog. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye!